The Miami Heat have lost their last 4 playoff games by 20 points each. They will look to bounce back in Game 2 tonight, the first round, the Eastern Conference playoffs against the top seed, those Cleveland Cavaliers. Welcome to the CarMax pregame show here with Quentin Richardson, Carlos Boozer. I'm that other guy, Chris Miles. And how about Eric Spoelstra when he loses Game 1s in the playoffs in his career? 10-3 is his record, so see if he can continue to play or continue to have his guys play at an incredible level. Let's hear from both coaches ahead of tonight's matchup.
Everyone always talks about Game 1 in a series as a deal-out game. So, does Game 2 have a similar, kind of identity?
It's a little bit different, right? Because you kind of know, you saw how they're playing us, how we're playing them, and there is not as much feel out. Now it's kind of like, okay, we're going to switch, we're going to change the lineup. Are we going to play different pick and roll coverage? Are we going to, there's a lot of things you could do. I got to react to what happened in the first game, but not overreact, right?
A lot of that is really overrated. Everybody starts talking about adjustments. It's just, everybody's making adjustments. Everybody's trying to play harder. Everybody's trying to impose their will on the game. There's a lot of different factors that go into it.
So, Q Rich, you play for Spo, right? What makes him so good at bouncing back? Because you heard him say, look, everybody makes adjustments, but you see his record. There has to be something there.
Man, the thing about Spo is that he doesn't run from confrontation or conflict. He goes straight forward and right directly into it, and he addresses it the right way. I think he's one of the most meticulous and prepared people that I've ever played for. I think he looks at film and things like that ad nauseum to figure out what things went wrong and why they went wrong, and he'll drive himself crazy until he figures that out. But more importantly, like I say, he's a tenacious dude. He handles the players like he has a player's mentality. He's not afraid to get up in somebody's face and challenge them and tell them they need to do more and show what they need to do more of and things like that. So he's just the ultimate preparer, man. You think about it, he came from the film room. So he's got that history of knowing how to look up and break down footage and show you your mistakes and where you need to do better at. And he does it individually to players and collectively as a team.
Well, last year against the Boston Celtics, they lost Game 1 in the first round, but then they won Game 2. But here's the thing, Booze. Their last 4 playoff losses, all by 20 or more points. So as well as they prepare, what is it about this group the last 2 years that they're getting blown out like this in the playoffs?
The Heat you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Some of it just comes down to who's taking shots, when they're taking shots. I do agree with Q, though. I think one of the best things about playing against Spo for so many years is he gets his guys prepared, man. Those guys are ready to play. They know what the schemes are. They know exactly where they should be, where they shouldn't be. They hold each other accountable. I think he has a respect of the locker room. And that's a big deal as a head coach in this league. When you've got so many guys who have won so much and they've had certain accomplishments, if the players respect you as a coach, then they'll buy in. And I think they all buy in because they respect him as a coach.
Well, he's going to have a hard time trying to slow down this man. Donovan Mitchell, 7th highest playoff points per game in playoff history. He had 30 points on 19 shots in Game 1. So when you see what Donovan Mitchell's able to do so consistently, what makes him so good in the playoffs? We know how good he's in regular season, but to be amongst this elite group.
Man, guys like this, they rise to that occasion, man. They know the importance of the playoffs. They live for these moments. You see him. When the team is down, he's trying to pump the crowd up, doing different things to try and get his crowd and his team into it. And I think he's done an incredible job. You see the numbers, but I think the leadership role he's taken this year, he's stepped up and taken it even to another level this season.
Yeah, that's what I'm impressed by, his leadership. He's always had numbers. He did the same thing in Utah when him and Rudy Gobert were there, played big numbers. But I think this year he didn't mind having Garland handle the ball a little bit, making sure that Evan Mobley got touches on the block so he knows how important that he is. I think he's done a hell of a job in that locker room of being the guy, a voice of reason on top of motivating everybody.
Well, we know how incredible Donovan Mitchell has been for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Utah Jazz, but check out Ty Jerome in his first playoff game amongst some elite company, LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. 28 off the bench for Ty Jerome in his first playoff game with Cleveland. Here's the thing. 24 of his 28 points came in the second half. And Booze, when I look at him, he only took 3 shots in the first half, had it going late. For Ty Jerome, What makes him so capable of going off like that?
Man, this is the reason why the Heat lost game one, in my opinion. He came off the bench. He got 28 points. You see the 5 threes right there. It was, to your point, Chris, it was when he had them. It was the majority of it in the second half when Cleveland needed a bucket. It wasn't Donovan Mitchell. It wasn't Darius Garland. It was Ty Jerome getting the crowd going.
Yeah, and I think I think he gets his confidence, Chris, from the relationship that he had developed with Kenny Atkinson in Golden State. Golden State, he was there before, and when Kenny A came over there to Cleveland, he wanted him to come there, and you can see the confidence that he plays with. He doesn't play like your average guy coming off the bench. He has a green light that most guys don't have, and I think that developed from the one-on-one player development that Kenny Atkinson was doing with him in Golden State, and he believed in his talents, and once he came there, he's giving him that opportunity in Cleveland.
Yeah, for the first time in Cavs history, they had 3 guys in a playoff game, each scored 27 or more, but they were all guards. And Booze, you know how it is. The big men, they need to eat too. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, combined, it wasn't bad. It was 21 points and 11 rebounds. But do you expect more from them here in game 2?
Yeah, I mean, in game one, it was more a defensive effort, really, especially from Mobley. I thought he did a great job defensively, rebounded the basketball, protected the paint, along with Jared Allen, his other twin tower over there. But I think in game 2, obviously the focus of Spo and the defense for the Miami Heat's going to be on the guards, right? So hopefully Mobley can get loose a little bit, get some easy buckets inside. He's had a great season, to be honest. Great year for the young fella. And if he can present himself available, because, you know, us big guys, we need the guards, y'all guards to get us the rock. So hopefully Evan Mobley gets some more touches in game 2.
Yeah, 121 points on the board for Cleveland Cavaliers in game 1. For the Miami Heat, you know, the first half was perfectly fine. Tyler Hero had 17. It seemed like, okay, Miami's got it going. But you see the second half, not so much for Tyler Hero. Didn't even get a 3-point attempt up. Had 3 turnovers after none in the first half. For Tyler Hero, how does he get it going for the entire game against Cleveland?
I would like to see him stay aggressive and not settle. I think he sometimes gets himself into situations where he's settling for bad shots, jacking up threes, or like just tough threes, step back threes, or this tough scenario. Like, I like him going to the hole, looking for the floater, trying to get all the way for the layup, and then seeing what he can create for everybody else. But I think shot selection is a big thing for him. Him taking good shots, high efficient shots.
You know, Booze, when we go back and look at game 1, someone that stood out off the bench was Davion Mitchell. I think it was 18 points, 9 assists. And you kind of look at Alec Burks in the starting lineup and you wonder if maybe Davion Mitchell not only deserves more minutes, but deserves to be in that starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Spo doing that if they go down 0-2. If they come up short a little bit in this game and don't end up going home split to Miami, I can see this kid's been playing great. And also, the other thing I'll say, too, is he's an underdog, man. Nobody's expected him to be playing this well. He played great down the stretch of this season. He gets guys in the right position. He's also proven himself as a scorer. Huge debut game for him right there in game 1. I'm looking forward to seeing him and getting more minutes, to be honest, Q.
He's Heat culture. He is what it's all about. The guys that like he said, underdog, that may not have gotten drafted this high or may have gone undrafted. But when you come here to Miami, and he's already called off night because he's in the gym all the time. So when I saw him going to the Heat, I said, I didn't know I can't say I knew he was going to come and play all good and play this well, but I knew he was a Heat culture type of guy. When they say that he's a guy that lives in the gym, he got off the plane, had the ball in his hand. Yeah. Like, this is the type of dude that Spo will fall in love with. Pat Riley and all of those guys in the Heat organization will fall in love with his makeup. And you see he's already giving them returns and playing better than he was playing at the previous destination. So I like him for the Heat a lot.
When I look at the Miami Heat and I think of, who could be an X factor tonight, you know, now that we've already talked about Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins is the player that kind of comes to mind. Like, if he plays at 20 or more and at a high level, the Heat could win the game. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Obviously, I think he definitely gives them a big chance to improve and to win if he has a big game. I mean, let's tell the truth. He's filling the Jimmy Butler role. Not to say that he's going to be a playoff Jimmy type guy, but they need a big performance for him to put their odds up to try and win this game. And if he plays well, it goes up significantly.
When we say big performance, Booze, like, what are the numbers or what are you looking for from Wiggins that stands out that we can look at after a game like he did this or he didn't do it?
Yeah, Chris, for me, it's him. Like, I'll say this, if the Miami Heat win this game, it's because Andrew Wiggins had a huge impact on this game, whether that's 25 points, whether that's locking down Donovan Mitchell. He's got to do something on both sides of the ball to help this team win the game because, to me, he is the Heat's X factor.
Yeah, great points made by you guys. Andrew Wiggins, a guy we're going to keep an eye out on for the Miami Heat as they look to bounce back against the top seed in the East in Game 2. 3 games tonight, including Game 2 between the Warriors and Rockets. We get you ready here on the CarMax pregame show.
Curry's got it. He'll dance. He'll throw up a shot. Oh, my goodness.
Are you kidding me?
Geometrically, that should not have happened.
This is crazy.
How you feeling? All right, you don't need a minute, do you? Steph, you good? Dre? All right.
Şengün stolen by Butler. Draymond gets it. Outlet Butler. Breakaway. Say good night in Houston.
And the Golden State Warriors are going to win it by 10 in Game 1.
Great job.
It's another win with Jimmy Butler.
Ah, good job, fellas. Good job. Come on, man. Sleep well. Get back to it. Get back to it. Yes, sir.
Come on, man.
Just a continuation of what it's been like since he's been on our team. He has a knack for big moments. It's obviously a great addition, and it has been since February, and we want to continue that.
He's done it time and time again. The shots that he takes and makes are absolutely incredible. I'm a fan, as everybody else is. He just makes big shot after big shot.
Winning on the road is always hard. Winning the first one even harder. So carry this momentum. Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Moses Moody, BP, we all try to make our presence felt. So off to Game 2.
Well, that's Steph Curry, last year's clutch player of the year, had 31 points in Golden State's Game 1 win against the Rockets. Houston held to a season-low 85 points. Let's check in with Steve Kerr ahead of Game 2.
What type of fight do you expect from the Rockets team coming in?
Oh, there's going to be a fight. We know that. I mean, hopefully not literally, but figuratively. They're a tough, physical, defensive-minded team. Great team. They're bringing it.
A lot of grabbing, a lot of holding. Got to find a way, to make shots within that physicality. But it's our type of style. When refs let us play like this during the regular season, we had great chances to win. So, I love it. I know our team loves it.
A little bit more physicality on guys as well. I think Butler and Podziemski specifically were too comfortable. Curry hit some big shots, some tough shots, but even our off-ball could be a little bit better with our communication on him.
We've been through this for many years. This will be the most force that we will face in this series right from the beginning because we know that they need to win this game.
We got to give credit where it's due, and it's the defense for the Golden State Warriors. Booze, how were they able to hold Houston to just 85 points? I mean, we've seen 4 teams score under 90 so far here in the playoffs, and the Warriors, another team playing top-tier defense.
Yeah, they did an outstanding job defense. To me, that's how they won Game 1. I know everyone's talking about the crazy shots that Steph hit, and that was outstanding, but their team defense was just phenomenal. You see the pressure all the way at half court. Doing a good job there. But look at Draymond Green trying to fight Şengün. I know Şengün had 26 and 9, had a phenomenal game. Look how he's playing him. Daring them to shoot the ball, gets a steal. Look, everybody's out and running now. They can get in their offense easily. You see here on this play, they're going to high pressure again. They're going to be pressuring the ball. Everybody's on the weak side. You see Draymond pointing at everybody. You see the little screen right here. They did a great job of communicating, doing team defense. Everybody's close enough to the box. So when the ball gets dropped in, they can all sink in there. Another steal by Draymond. They did a phenomenal job also just watching the action away from the basketball, paying attention to what's going to come next, and then they all sink in there. I thought the reason why they won this game was they did a phenomenal job on the guards. Think about Van Fleet. What was he, 4 for 19? Jalen Green had a tough shoot night. They held their guards subpar what they normally do, and they did a decent job on Şengün, and they won this game, to me, on their defense.
A lot of times we hear guys get monikers. You go, okay, how real is that? But playoff Jimmy once again became a real thing. Q Rich, I'm going to read the stats. 25 points, 7 rebounds, 6 helpers, 5 steals. How did we once again get Golden State Warriors Game 1 of the playoffs, playoff Jimmy?
Listen, man, this is what he does. This is who he is. He doesn't, like you said, you don't get that moniker, that nickname for nothing in this situation. He is truly a guy that we've seen year after year after year raise his level of play to a first-team All-NBA MVP type level when he gets in the playoffs. And it doesn't matter who it's been against and what's going on. When he gets in the playoffs, he takes it up to a notch. He's taking the Heat to 2 finals doing this playoff Jimmy thing. So trust me, it's a real deal.
Now, again, we talked about the Warriors' defense, and it was that second quarter that was so impressive, held the Rockets to just 13 points. But here's the thing. In that third quarter, the Rockets went big with Şengün and Steven Adams out there. They had a 20-point advantage, points in the paint, 10-point advantage, and second chance points. Do you think the Rockets are going to go to that more frequently, seeing as they have that advantage?
Yeah, I would. I think there are advantages on the offensive glass. I think they can get the offensive glass from here if they want to. The Warriors are small. I mean, Draymond's their biggest guy at 6'8". Sometimes they come off the bench with some players, but for the most part, Draymond's their biggest guy. So if you bring in there 2 guys who are 6'10", 6'11", you should dominate the offensive glass, dominate the defensive glass. I think Adams had 10 rebounds off the bench, didn't he? So, and even Jabari Smith did a good job rebounding the basketball as well. So if I'm Houston and I'm Ime Udoka, if you see things not going the way you want it to go, why not go big?
Go big or go home for the Houston Rockets, apparently.
Listen, you see it says 22 second chance points. Houston got to shoot better. That's the biggest thing. They have to, with playing like this, you saw 2 plays in that defensive segment where Draymond got steals while guarding the ball. He backed up off the guy and got steals guarding the ball. Right now they're able to just pack it in.
Can we give credit to our graphics department? Failure to launch, because we're talking about Houston, right? 3 for 15, Jalen Green. And then Fred VanVleet, remember he hit that late 3? He was 1 for 10 from long range before making that shot. 2 for 17 from outside from that group. Q-Rich, to your point, you can't really expect those 2 to struggle in that way. But do you think for Jalen Green, right, because we know Fred VanVleet won a championship. For Jalen Green, is it just first playoff game looked out of sorts?
Yeah, I mean, you're playing against the Warriors. This isn't they're a great coach team. They play great team defense. And obviously, you're at the top of the board as far as you and Şengün. We got to stop you 2. So you're getting a lot of attention. You're getting a lot of focus, and they're gearing for you. So this is a young player dealing with his first playoff series and learning that, hey, you got the target on your back, and you got a great coach team that's focusing on you right now. You got to figure it out.
You know, one thing that me and Booze have figured out, we ordered our food to be here after the show. Yours is already here getting cold. But check this out. We are just 19 minutes away from tip. Don't forget to order your Game Time favorites through DoorDash. Game 2 in the first round in the Eastern Conference between the Cavs and the Heat coming your way at 7:30. We got 3 games tonight, 1 already underway featuring the defending champs, the Boston Celtics. It's the first playoff game that Jason Tatum is missing. He's played 114 straight to start his career. Paolo Banchero, fellow Dookie, out there hitting threes.
Playing great, man.
From the Brotherhood. But hold on, we didn't stop this because Jaylen Brown answering from downtown. The Orlando Magic with a 1-point lead in the first quarter of our earliest tip of the night. Congrats to Captain Clutch, number 11 for the New York Knicks. The results are in. Jalen Brunson named the NBA Clutch Player of the Year.
Why are you talking like that? All this is fervor in your voice and all that. What's wrong with him, Booze? You hear?
A lot of energy right there.
Jalen Brunson, the most clutch field goals in the NBA this season, the second most points, and now just the 3rd player in NBA history to win Clutch Player of the Year. For you, my friend, what does it mean to you to be named the player that is trusted the most with the ball at the end of the game in the NBA this season?
It means a lot. I think it's a credit to teammates and coaches. Without them, I think none of this would be possible. I think it's most important that we've been able to win games in those situations. So, without them, this isn't possible.
What's up, JB? This Q-Rich, man. I just got to know, I played in the Garden, I played in New York. How good do it feel to know that you won this award, knowing that in the Garden and playing for them Knicks with that across your jersey, there's more pressure than most places to win that award?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit more different in the environment that we were in. Playing in New York, it's tough, but it's been the biggest blessing in my life. One of the biggest blessings in my life, excuse me. But it's something I don't take for granted at all. And I love playing in that city, in that arena. It's home.
Jalen, congrats, man. I remember you working out with your dad at the at the practice site up there in the Berto. Talk to some of the young guys. What prepares you to be a clutch player at this level in your career?
A lot of trial and error, and not being afraid to fail. I think when you fail, you learn, and then you get better, and you go from there. I think just having that mindset. Knowing that, like, no matter what happens, you're going to come back and get better the next day, regardless if you succeed or you fail. So I think that's the biggest takeaway I have from that. That was what I learned at such a young age, and it's helped me to be where I am now.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at your clutch stats, you succeed more in the clutch than you do at any other point in the game, shooting almost 52% from the field, getting quality shots for your teammates. What do you think it is about when the game is on the line that you're able to get quality shots, not just for yourself, but for your teammates as well?
I mean, for the most part, I want to be able to have the right focus. And I think at that stage of the game, it's really the most important time to have it. And so just making sure I stay focused, stay poised, stay composed, and knowing that obviously everything matters. But you just got to trust your work ethic, trust what you do, trust your instincts, and just making sure that you're keeping your heart rate low, and then you just go on from there.
Jalen Brunson, thank you for spending some time with us. Your 2025 Kia Clutch Player of the Year.
Congrats, man.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats, player.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And there are your results from the media who voted Jalen Brunson as the Clutch Player of the Year. Nikola Jokic, the three-time MVP, finished second. And Anthony Edwards, who had the most clutch points, finished third with just a pair of first-place votes. So, Booz, you actually played with Jalen Brunson's dad. And tell us about what it was like when you saw him coming up as a player and the kind of work he was putting in.
Yeah, Rick was one of our assistants under Tibbs when I was with the Bulls, and we would get done with our 3-4 hour practice. And
3-4 hours.
You know how Tibbs get down. And then here comes Jalen coming in. He worked out with Rick for 2 or 3 hours. You could see him putting the work in. Went to one of his games in high school. He put up like 45 as a sophomore in high school in Illinois. And you could just say that he already had the work ethic, going through pro drills as a teenager. So I'm really not surprised that he's one of our most clutch players we've got in the league right now.
Yeah, it's also interesting to look at all three of the clutch players all playing in the postseason and all in series that are tied at 1-1. So we're going to see some clutch moments from all of them. So when I look at the series Jalen Brunson is in, the Pistons and the Knicks, it does feel like, even though it's 1-1, the Pistons have the mental and emotional edge. Q-Rich, what do you make of that, and who does have the edge in that series?
I feel like if the Pistons lean into their physicality and the way that they can impose their will and their physicality on the game, I feel like they have a leg up on the Knicks right now. I feel like Hartenstein and DiVincenzo was a huge piece of their toughness that they lost in the offseason. And obviously Mitchell Robinson has been big coming back, but hey, them boys down in Detroit, Beef Stew, Duran, they got some big boys down there, some young Thundercats that's not scared to mix it up. And led by Cade, man, I like their chances right now. They fighting in this series, and they showing that they up the snub about it.
And then I look in the Western Conference, that 1-1 series between the Nuggets and the Clippers. That feels like any other year that could be a Western Conference Finals. Who do you think has the edge in that series that seems to be so unpredictable?
Man, it could go either way. I mean, I'm kind of looking at the Nuggets. I feel like they haven't played their best basketball, but the Clippers played great. I mean, the way that Kawhi started that game in Game 2, that looked like old Kawhi that we used to play against.
Looking spooky right
now. He looked good. I mean, defensively, offensively, clutch shots, making the right plays. It could go either way. I mean, that series to me is going to be a 7-game series. We'll see how it ends up turning out. But both those teams got players who have been in that situation before as stars in this league. And whoever makes the most clutch plays, since we're talking about clutch player of the year, whoever makes the clutch plays will win that series.
Yeah, both the first 2 games came down to a final shot, so absolutely. And the Wolves-Lakers, I look at that series. Anthony Edwards, also a finalist for Clutch Player of the Year. Luka Doncic, if he played all the games during the season, he would be in the running as well. But the Lakers, holding the Wolves to just 85 points. What do you make of that second game, and who do you like in that series now that we've seen 2 games?
I felt like that Minnesota didn't come out with the same type of energy they did in game 1. I'm not sure why. I think, obviously, the Lakers coming out as strong as they did probably had something to do with that, but they need to, this next game, they need to come out like gangbusters and try and jump on top of them right away. As far as I'm with Bulls on that. I think this series could go either way, but I think, like you said, we're talking about the clutch player finalists. I think Ant-Man need to have an explosive game, 30 to 40 plus points, where he really puts his imprint on his game in his building and, tries to let them know that he means business. These are the type of moments he thrives for. So I expect him to come out and try and really put on a show.
Certainly. One thing Ant-Man is box office. Donovan Mitchell, another player you can trust in the clutch. You can trust him in the playoffs. The Cavs looking to go up 2-0 over the Miami Heat.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, it's a battle. That's a really good team, physical team, so it's going to be a battle.
What a performance by Ty Jerome again in his first ever NBA playoff game. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the #1 seed in the East, begin their postseason bid with a convincing win.
How would you summarize your playoff debut?
Solid.
Is that first time in the playoffs? Damn sure it looked like.
Solid, yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, solid game 1. Yeah. We can really reevaluate after the series.
Donovan, would you like to?
Solid. We haven't done anything. We haven't accomplished anything. They've been there in these moments. So for us, take this performance and find a way to be even better in game 2.
AAU teammates Donovan Mitchell, Ty Jerome getting playoff wins together. Something special. So the Miami Heat bounce back and win if
they can guard Ty Jerome. But if Andrew Wiggins has a huge impact game, in my mind, offensively, defensively, making an imprint on this game, that's what will help Miami Heat get over the hump today.
I say the Miami Heat win if they can, like you say, they got to contain. You can't have Ty Jerome go out and have a big game like that, but you got to contain the guards. And then Tyler Hero got to be having a big game. Him and Bam got to have a big game.
Cleveland Cavaliers improve to 2-0 in this series
if Donovan can continue to do what he's doing, and I think Mobley has a big game.
Yeah, I'm going with the bigs. Cleveland goes 2-0 if the bigs have a monster night.
All right, we're looking for the bigs in Game 2 for the Cleveland Cavaliers and Andrew Wiggins for the Miami Heat. Game 2 coming your way next.